ke a le dumedisa bomme. Ke Nelly. Maybe no how to woman on to work menstruation. Ke tse ke ba fra fela ntso tshwano. Ntso re o tlameha re tsebe letsatsi o fihlela duration, volume, and the cycle. I used to keep that in high school, but ever since I got married, somehow I lost track. So, I've used different thibela pelei tse ngata tse fapaneng ke di try tse ding di nhlola tse ding di dumela until ke settle ho ending 2 months lena ke tsebe bitsa I got ditlamo but ke 2 months wherever I go ke 2 months injection man choose so hanze ke qala ho sebedisa nentse ke ya diphorotseng ka mogho che o normally nyana because flow ya ka pele ke sebedisa it was it la rene le volume e udumenyana but ever since ke sebedisa ba ntse theowa ya toto ya yona jele fedile so ntse wa monono ke foraje ha ke sana flow ko ke na le di khwedi ke sena ntho eno bitswang menstruation
ke sitwa botsa volume
ha ona volume ha ona cycle ha ona duration gore o tlise mona cycle fra ke re bona we ebe ke makhatshane ebe ke a hula ebe go ke fra so ke ne ke kopa ho botsa gana is there anything wrong with me kapo ke normal thank you
ke kopa o tshwara mme motsamaiso thata kopa re dinke ka bulk kopa o fa botsa tse pedi be mme o sa tla etsa ga le bua mme for sharing your question.
My question is almost similar to hers, but I tend to, my period, I will say it's not irregular, or it just shifts every time I get into excessive workout. I've been relying on the University of YouTube for quite some time, telling me that it's normal, that if I excessively exercise, my period is gonna shift by a day or two, but I just want clarity from an actual doctor to say, do I need to come for a consultation or is my flow just fine? Considering that I don't have medical aid, I'm an entrepreneur. So, I don't have medical aid.
Ke rata lo go asuma gore ke 650 tshete tsone di ngata holo mme wa ka o sontse o complain ka 650.
Yeah, I saw another hand here.
Leboa biso ka di maskhonyana bereng ke kopa botsa fela hore na I wanted to commend all of you beautiful ladies pele re qala le mme mona a ntse mosebetsi o motle re thutile tse ngata tsa leadership from your HR but ke a khola testimony ena it touched a little bit and I'm wondering in terms of ethical considerations, and I know it affects us also in mental health. What happens in this country when something like that happens, when there's malpractice or neglect from the doctor's perspective?
Before ke le bala ke arabe tsena tse tharo tsena ke qale ka that one which is much easier. There's nothing wrong if your period shifts, especially if you know you can acquaint it to certain things. But one have a fruits and vegetables only and remove protein. Either their duration changes or their volume changes. Ke mo khona re tla ka nako ngwe ha o sukudiswa ke di period. O ko le ke sa ho etsa lifestyle modification. Remove the protein, hanyenyane o remove the dairy products. Next month o dule fela on fruits and vegetables. Then we see what really works well for you. Ke mo khona we are what we eat. So ho ka etsahala hore ha o qeta o change ibile ka nako ngwe o gym. Of manore flow ya thewa, duration ya thewa, dintho di correct before you even go into medication. So that's what we advise: lifestyle modification, exercise, take enough water, then medication. When you have correct hormonal, so there's nothing wrong. But then that is not okay. Then coming to yamme, but there is no way you can take a medication into your system more than whatever duration you do, and you do not know what it is and what it does to your body. So before you go into any form of contraceptive, you have to have pre-contraceptive counseling. More full workup of your profile, your hormonal profile, your physical profile. All these contraceptives we take are not without side effects. They have side effects. Exaggerated in a certain type of your body. Over the counter ebe mtato wa pharmacy ka pomme wa pharmacy wa ofa o lo enwa o sa tsebe rena ntse tsa mmeleng wa hao. Hona le mofuta o mongwe wa di oral contraceptives o re reng o causa increase in male hormones in your body. E re motho wa fumana sa le mme a motenya a ditedu a jwang a re sa le sebedisa ntho ena ntse ke. So you need to do pre-conception counseling to say what will suit well for you. So myoka hanzon kan twen kanya 2 months bitwa null estrate. It's a hormone it's into 20 day or provera. It's a hore di ovaries how they go into a shutdown, meaning you do not ovulate. And if you do not ovulate, you're not going to see periods. So how's our ovulate meaning usanzele mid cycle? There is no way to ovulate. I mean, the period. So that is what null estrate does. It will reduce your volume to eventually not being able to see your period. There's nothing wrong. It's its side effect. Now for your body, is it the right side effect? That is where we are. Before you start any form of contraceptives, because they're going to have an effect on your body, say you're a lady who's, I'm not even saying it's wrong that you're taking it, but is it the right contraceptive for you to take? So that is what it has done. You're not pregnant, there's nothing wrong. But their blood must be less, completely. And the time I want to be pregnant, how long is it going to take for my ovaries to get revived for me to fall pregnant again? So the say no. It's a consultation before the contraceptives. Pattern how currently and your future prospect plans, so that it suits you. So there's nothing wrong, yeah, like I get injection pregnancy. Unfortunately, institutions that deal with medical negligence. I want to do a master's degree that has medical ethics and law. I actually have a lawyer that is already doing that part to say, where can people go when there have been malpractice issues in their lives? What did they do to you? They stand at the gates, they stand everywhere. So you know that there is no way you can mismanage a patient. But now we take decisions as doctors for patients. We manage them. They don't know what was removed. They don't know what was done. They were never informed. So there's a big gap in terms of people being informed. Actually, ethics. O ka sempone o sa ke sa o fa tumelo a ke o ka se ntshware ke sa o fa tumelo o ka se prescribe medication ke sa tsena kwang. You cannot take me to theater without letting me know and giving me alternatives. But ha mana o tofela mmele bo tshwere ke ntho itse go tlonka theater o sa ne ga o isa o aya o a gutla ka bo sotho bo re nsotho gutla ka mohele ha o tsebe sister ga e ba o operateile ba o fa discharge ya lapeng. And nobody really knows what was done to you. Our nature is so complacent. So in a case like that, one can actually assign themselves to a lawyer. Because there is no rude. Now, what is malpractice? What is negligence? Just definition of that. So that's where we are.
Wow. Hello. taba ena mo Helena and about how operate do hona ho. I didn't see any hands. Ke bona le tso hona le matso a ke a misitseng. Ke bona la mme ke tsebo tsamaisa. All right, cool.
My question goes to the HR practitioner. How nzo bua kutleka qualifications tsa how the MBA. So were you specific horona or measure kae? Because I'm also in the HR field, so I want to know ha ke batla ba HR practitioner, HR specialist, what do I need to focus on?
You already have a mic, you can continue.
Thank you. And sorry, thank you to the panel for such enlightening conversations. I think I have a question for both Mema Mosale and Medineo. One, for Mema Mosale, so I think, okay, we get into corporate.
We have competing neighbors.
Okay, so we get into corporate as young women, right? And obviously, well, anyone, women, men, but we say, go to school, get the degrees, and the corner office is waiting for you. Obviously, you get into corporate and you get the shock of your life. Mangolo, Amararo, Afai, all countries, like go on paper, And then obviously you learn the other things, the corporate politics, there's issues of mentorship, responsibility. And then as women, now we get to this stage, I think especially between age 30 and 35, where you really have competing interests. Now you're climbing up the ladder, or sort of maybe middle management. There's also that time now where maybe you're married or you're seeing someone, but you start, thinking about the family structure. Now, okay, now my male peers were in the same thing. They're married to, in fact, they're getting commended for it. That's why the execs, because they have responsibilities. That's why I say responsibility. You, on the other hand, now you're looking, you're like, okay, if I do have a child, or say 2 or 3, that means every 2 years for the next 6 years of my life, I have to go on maternity. Bonus I have to think of. Maybe I'm being managed by a man, or just generally. Okay, productive time I'm trying to lose nursing time. So there are all these other barriers to how you can progress. And I think what corporate Lesotho, it's trying, but it's still missing, just generally, is really having honest conversations for women around these, these topics. Now, okay, how do we mitigate it? Obviously, another thing is the fact that a lot of us are still managed by males, and they don't understand lived experience at all, And in a patriarchal society, it's not that idea, okay, the male has to be a breadwinner. So it's like, no, it's fine, work, whatever, but so maybe he's more favorable for this. But okay, but that means you have to go home. Because meetings are and in the sector I work in, a lot of meetings happen in the evenings where your markets, where your guy. Okay, I can't go really nursing time, but my male counterpart and I'm just as capable. It's just that the dynamics do not allow. It's now almost feeling like I have to, further to have the family, I have to let this sit back. And usually, you then see a gap just all over the world. There are all these women who are coming up, and then there's now a missing middle. You have a few that are execs, but then they never quite progress past a certain thing, because with all that capabilities, those factors that now take that time that their male counterparts don't necessarily have to contend with. And I think it will be great if we also have more women having conversations around that.
Yeah.
And then maybe now 2 things, I think somewhat still moving to this topic. One, the issue, you said, obviously from, 35 or 30, obviously the older we get as women, that means we lose more eggs and, reproductive capability. Are there services in country, or can you point us about freezing your eggs? Where can we do that? Because if now at say 30, I'm not interested in having a child, but maybe at 38 I will be, what mechanisms can I take now, if I can afford to ensure there's a possibility of that happening, even at a more mature age. Another one, the other part, maybe I don't want to have kids at all, or maybe I think I've had enough children, and I want to get my tubes tied. And I know that's also another controversial topic. I've seen women saying they go to their doctors and then I just know that I never want to have a child. Or maybe we've had 3 kids, but this is my body, and I've just decided, you know what, this is enough. What mechanisms do we have around those, maybe in country or neighboring countries, let's say, so we can access those services if we want to.
Kinana, she covered it. Awesome. Kinana, we can respond to those. All right.
I think what you just said, I need to decide for myself. Decide the journey I want to take in life na ya hokae. I think me pinky opening discussions it's right for us to talk to a 20-year-old and give them options to say, it's the nature of a woman. You're going to breastfeed. You're going to go home. It's the nature of being a woman. Is that what you want for yourself? Pregnant maternity leave. How maternity leave you have 3 months. How project is like it will fit only maternity. Kaha is the nature of being a lady. Is this what I want for myself? Then you make very clear decisions. So only at 40 to decide that you want to have a kid. 40% of women in high corporate ladders habana bana. They've never decided to they meet important people in their lives. Now they start thinking of, probably I should have a child. There's a lot that consult, a lot. If 40 years, 45 years, there's nothing that can be done. So that means opening such discussions at a young age as tender as 30. Then you say, okay, because I'm not sure, which now comes to your second question, because I'm not sure, let me rather freeze my eggs. Because the eggs are how the freeze are aging, they remain at that age until you use them. Say you freeze them when you're 27 years, they remain 27 years old until you use them. It's the booming industry in America, overseas. Cape Town, because they realize that I'm not yet sure whether I want to get married. Let me freeze my eggs. At the later stage. Lesotho mana ha rena facility tse jwalo. But Cape Town, Pretoria, Gauteng, readily available. I have friends of mine during medical school who actually decided, because let's rather freeze our eggs. And they freeze their eggs. 18, 17 years, 19, because when they are forever ready. And then it's just a matter of now, is your body and your womb ready to contain the baby? So, Cape Town, Pretoria, Gauteng, readily available. You just have to know fertility clinics that preserve eggs. And I think it's very important for such conversations. People come 40 years back. Had I known, I'm CEO, but I want a child, but I cannot, So, the questions, the conversations,
Tying of tubes.
Oh, tying of tubes. It's a myth. You can come ulo pepa kapo sa lo pepa ore ha ke qeta pepa mona kapa ke kopa kwala dithubi tsaka e tlebe se ba conversation ore na for you is it the right thing mohlala ona tjenana ha ke expandang yan fela hona le alternatives so ka di etsa not to tie your tube but with the same efficacy because tying your tubes is permanent. And I don't know how many people come to my practice and say, can I untie my tubes? Because when I was 25, 27, later 35, 38, they come and say, can I tie my tube? And how some of the procedures say don't want to tie the tube. So it's about the conversations and is it the right option for you? Or can we go for alternatives? It's semi-efficacy but reversible. so o ka tla tšhegi ra buisana ra kwala ditšhubu ga e batla di kwala go sena motho wa
Ke a leboha. Ke arabe potso ya mme ya hore na ha o batla ho etsa HR o sebetsa HR na o nkela anything ya study a clear cut go o ka lo etsa HR go wa etsa HR courses kapa wa etsa diploma or a degree ya HR ntho ya bohlokwa ke ya hore ha o batla ho etsa HR e ba o ntse entse public admin kapa o entse make sure that o supplement a degree ya hao ka certificate or your course engwe fela ya basic principles tsa human resources because foundation ya HR is on those principles. How sana tsona principles then you are not going to excel in the field. So principles just like any other discipline. How sana basic principles it's a field you o ke ba wa excel because you start somewhere go lo fitla hodimo mane. In ya how ke mona mo go khutlela mane mo reng what is it that I want for myself career family jolo jwa unfortunately in organizations in the corporate world honorable if you are a woman and o ya setswetsi project di ahla di tlotla du feta ke ga dina o yemela re nne re hopola organization exists for a purpose and you are there to do a job. If you can't, at the time that you're required, where and you have to accept it. It is natural for women to as opposed to your counterpart, opportunity another struggle in the corporate world. We do not know our rights. You don't understand you have every right you have every right to get married and your basic right to progress in an organization. So where you feel I'm being prejudiced, exercise right, you have every right to complain about it. So raise complaint how grievance. The employee how grievance. So one, an organization exists for a purpose. You have to be there to deliver. If you have made a choice, you are failed. But at the same time, how prejudicial because or exercise a right there how lodge a grievance, speak out. Sika tulaba oshwa kata.